Hey, hello. Welcome back to the Sunday Serving channel, where you come every week for a gospel reading, a word of hope, of inspiration, of challenge. Remy and I are taking a walk up this road here on a beautiful fall day. It's still shirt sleeve weather. What better hope is there than glorious weather? But let's turn to the gospel for even more hope. And I was thinking, here's an interesting, let me get it open here, an interesting story from the gospel, from the 15th chapter of Matthew. Kind of made me stop and think a little bit because it's a bit unusual, but different than some of the other stories of Jesus healing people, driving out demons, healing the sick, teaching about life, about forgiveness, about change, about repentance. But here is an interaction Jesus had with a woman that was a Gentile. She wasn't from the Jewish faith or people. Listen to this. The faith of a Gentile woman. Then Jesus left Galilee and went north to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Gentile woman who lived there came to him pleading, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is possessed by a demon that torments her severely." So this woman, that's interesting. Jesus left the Galilee region with his own people, the people of Israel, went through this area of Canaan, Tyre and Sidon, they were not his people. And this woman came to him. How did she know Jesus? How did she recognize Jesus? Had she heard stories of his healings? Probably. He doesn't mention anything about him performing miracles in those towns. But she came with this very specific request. And she obviously had the faith that Jesus could do something. She had a daughter who was possessed by a demon. Now, it's interesting the way Jesus dealt with the situation. It's kind of shocking in a way. This isn't characteristic of what we read in the gospel, but there's something here that's important. But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. So Jesus ignored her, didn't answer. It says, didn't even reply, not a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. "Tell her to go away," they said. "She's bothering us with all her begging." So this woman must have continued to plead, to beg, to bother Jesus, the disciples. They had much more important things to do. Send that woman away. She's a bother. She came and asked her question. Jesus didn't answer. Come on, send her away. Then Jesus said to the woman, "I was sent only to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel." So he told her his mission. I'm really sent to my people, not to yours, people of Israel. But she came and worshipped him, pleading again, "Lord, please help me." Now, in other translations, it says she worshipped him. In other translations, it says she kneeled down before him. How many people have you knelt before when you asked them to do something? I don't know. I have never done that. That's a sign of worship, of recognizing power in somebody, of kingship. So this woman took that symbol of worshiping Jesus, kneeling before him, repeating her request. And then Jesus responded like this: "It isn't right to take food from the children and throw it to the dogs." Again, another shocker. If you think about it, Jesus replied to this gesture of worship, really what seems to us as an insult, right? This isn't, what I have isn't for you. You're a dog. It's for is it right for a father to take things meant for children and give it to a dog? Would you take that as an insult? Well, listen to how this woman answered to Jesus after he said that. She replied, "That's true, Lord, but even dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath their master's table." So that's an amazing response. She wasn't insulted. She said, you're right, Lord. But even dogs are allowed to eat just a crumb, just a scrap, the leftovers. That's good enough for me. I don't need the whole thing. You know, she was saying, Jesus, you have so much power, so much authority, so much goodness, so much love, so much forgiveness that I don't need the whole thing. I just need a tiny crumb, a scrap, a leftover, and that's good enough for me. Then Jesus said this to her, dear woman, your faith is great. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed instantly. Isn't that powerful? Amazing. Jesus acknowledged, again, there's many stories like this, the great faith this woman had in spite of all odds, even though in this story, the disciples for sure, and Jesus seemingly slighted her or ignored her or even insulted her. She persisted in that faith, in that true faith, in worshiping Jesus, in having that belief that even a small part of Jesus' love, of God's love, is all I need. I'm not worthy. Just give me a scrap, give me a crumb. So if that little crumb of Jesus' goodness to heal her daughter was good enough for this woman, just think, for us, for you, for me, just a tiny crumb of Jesus' love and forgiveness and grace, that's all we need. Have faith. Isn't that a hopeful story? It should give us hope. It should embolden us to ask God, to ask Jesus with any need we have, any problem. Do it with faith and Jesus will grant it. So have a blessed week. Enjoy the fall weather, and we'll see you again next week. God bless. Where's Remy? Remy, let's go see if we can find some crumbs. I think even dogs can have crumbs.